Hi, this is the second part to a much longer reaction. If you haven't seen it yet, links to it are in the description as well as the top corner of the video. Now with all that out of the way, let's continue with this then, shall we?
Mix reached out to Michelle Moss, Bellora's voice actress, to do voice lines for Bellora.
Oh, never mind then.
And they just never responded to her, never got back to her, and Bellora was released without any voice whatsoever. And even Miss Moss was surprised. Now,
That
I
is
can't
very
say for
weird.
sure, but considering some of the issues surrounding Fnaf AR and Illumix, which had like 2 or 3 employees when I checked back in early 2022, it could have been anything. But the lack of communication is unprofessional.
Yeah,
There's
that's
nothing wrong with
really
telling someone
bad.
you can't use their services. Or else you'll look like it took you this long to put in another character in the game and you couldn't even give her voice lines? Yeah.
Like, not even just voice lines that she used, like, in the previous game or something like that? Like, in Sister Location? I mean, come on.
I've heard some people defend this by saying that Bellora is a noise-based animatronic. She's not. At least not in that sort of noise. See, the noise she's sensitive to is yours, but it's from you moving, not from you talking.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would her having voice lines matter? It's not like you have to listen to Bellora do something specific. Again, it's not the lack of voice lines that's a problem. Both Miss Moss and Cameron Miller, Monty's voice actor, have mentioned some, questionable experiences with 2 separate companies working with Fnaf, and I just hope this doesn't become a trend.
Yeah.
But moving on. Jacko Chica returns again.
Greetings from the
She basically functions as a harder, faster Chica who can, at times, cover the screen in smoke so you have to shake it off. To little surprise,
Yeah.
she doesn't have any skins. And when there's Jacko Chica's smoke, there's Jacko Bonnie's fire. Don't at me, I'm tired. Jokes aside, Jacko Bonnie does the same smoke trick and has the same speed. He's basically a lot like Jacko Chica, but for some reason, he doesn't have any lines. Likely because he didn't have any in Ultimate Custom Night, but that didn't stop some characters from getting them.
No, yeah,
or
definitely.
Jacko Bonnie getting the short end of the stick. But now it's time for another
Yeah, here we
major
go,
shakeup
Plush
in
Trap.
mechanics with the arrival of Plush Trap. This little guy is a big deal. Instead of the typical spin situation, when you have to go up against Plush Trap, you are dropped into an AR battlefield that looks like a hallway, and you have to power up generators as he creeps towards you, and then shock him before he reaches you, making sure to keep looking at him to stop him in place. Your basic Weeping Angel red light green light thing.
Yeah,
But the
yeah,
fact that
exactly.
it actually puts you in a special location to do so is really neat. It's no wonder
Wish
that this
more
came
of
back
them had
later
done
for the
that.
Dark Circus Encore, but it is a shame that this is really the only time it's used in an animatronic encounter. But as a plus, Plush Trap gets 2 skins, and both of these skins have unique hallways. I mean, they're still the same hallway layout, but Frost Plush Traps is snowy, and the hideous Piranha Plush Traps is underwater and decorated with seagrass and aquatic plants.
That'd be
something.
nice.
To be entirely honest, I kind of wish more of the animatronics had environments like this instead of just spinning in my living room. Not only because you could have made it easier just to look forward, left, and right, but because it feels a lot more immersive. Now we're on to Golden Freddy, also
Wait,
known
Golden-
as God, Why Won't You Die?
Golden Freddy. I didn't know Golden Freddy was at it. Well, again, I didn't really listen to news, so what am I saying?
Because this character has an exceptionally lengthy battle segment. Golden Freddy shows up and he just doesn't want to leave. He has 3 phases where he acts like other animatronics, and during which he can either mimic Freddy, Toy Freddy, Springtrap, Mangle, or Bellora.
Oh, wonderful.
But wait, it gets more intense. So, the second you enter the battle, you have got to figure out pretty quickly into the encounter who you're actually going up against. If it's Mangle and Bellora, you'll pick up pretty quickly, but if it's anyone else, you're having to circle around and try to think if it's haywiring.
Well, wait a second, actually. If they're if Golden Freddy is copying Bellora and Mangle, what are you picking up? Are you picking up Golden Freddy's parts, or are you picking up mini Golden Freddys?
It's Springtrap. If the static is this length, it's this character. If it's this length, it's that character, but you
Jeez,
can't
that
really see the
sounds
static for
absolutely
any of them.
horrible.
Golden Freddy is a pain in the neck.
Yeah, I would
Especially
imagine,
when you're
very
giving
much so.
yourself whiplash trying to track him down. And just to clarify, if you are having the same issues I was with crashing, there is no defeating Golden Freddy. He will drag you around until that game crashes. But if you are more fortunate, you're still in for a bit of a lengthy go at it. Golden Freddy's going to make you work for that gold, especially if you're unfortunate enough to get Mangle, Ballora, and Springtrap. Oof.
Oh,
Golden
God.
Freddy doesn't have any voice lines and only one skin, Great Escape Golden Freddy, who was in fact the last skin released for the game and was acquirable through the DLC, which I will cover later.
DLC?
Character who was
What?
released into the game, Funtime Freddy.
Don't worry, I'll visit you in your dreams tonight.
Oh, God,
Now,
that's
Funtime
freaky.
Freddy's mechanics are slightly different from normal mechanics by having a second phase, but he basically plays the
69,
same.
420.
So Funtime Freddy circles in haywires and mock charges, but once you shock him, instead of winning, Bon Bon comes out to play.
Hey, watch it! You almost stepped on me.
Bon Bon is a tiny animatronic who will basically do the same thing before charging you. Shock him and you win. Miss him and he charges up Funtime Freddy, who gets up again and starts it all over again.
Oh,
He is fast,
okay.
but otherwise his mechanics are the same ones you're familiar with, so you know what you're doing. Funtime Freddy doesn't have any skins either. So that's it. That's the lineup of animatronics. There was another character teased who was pretty much finished, but I'll address that in the cut content section.
Yeah, okay.
As you've probably noticed, while the characters went on, their gimmicks became more unique and advanced. Sometimes
I mean, as
leading
you
to
should.
longer and more strategic encounters, which is pretty neat, and some of these encounters definitely felt more lively than the standard spin and spot. But you can probably see how this would be an issue with those hiccups I mentioned in the crashes sections. But there
Yeah.
was another bit of an issue too, one not confirmed but seems to be the case.
Actually, wait a second. Is this picture... Is this from a video or something? Because Bon Bon's eyes, they're bulging out in a very similar way that you'd see in like an SFM video or something. Where is this picture from? I know not real name. She saw my reaction, so if she sees this video and gets this apart, can you tell me where you got this picture from?
See, characters started releasing steadily, initially releasing even monthly, which might have been a little too quick, but still. But then began to slow down towards the end of its short lifetime. And I wonder if that's because it went from basic mechanic changes to having such huge changes in playstyle. While I give a thumbs up on the creativity,
Yeah, I could definitely
this
see
might have shot
that.
the creators in the foot, or hammered another nail in the coffin. This also means that while all of the original characters had at least one or two skins, quite a few of the later ones didn't have any at all. When it
Yeah.
comes to the skins, I won't be ranking the skins here. That's something I'll do in my spare time. It would take me a while to deconstruct my thoughts. But I'll say that my stance are, some are good, some are meh. I know that's not a
Really
super
weird.
hot take, but it does seem like there are folks that lean either way, into they're all pretty good, into they're all really bad. Now, it has never been confirmed for Fnaf AR, but this recent Fnaf Roblox leak, if you haven't heard of it, yes, there was a Fnaf Roblox leak.
Yeah, that was the thing. So, I guess I'll talk about it a little bit, the little bit I know of at least. So apparently, Scott actually allowed there to be sort of like a Dead by Daylight sort of clone involving the FNAF animatronics, but made entirely in Roblox. It got leaked early, a bunch of people played it. Now I have no idea what's happening to it, whether it's still in development, whether it was cancelled, I don't know. It's been a while since I've heard anything from that.
Confirmed that Scott has to give his approval on skins, his words, so there is a chance that Scott okayed
Oh
every
God,
skin in
what is
AR
that?
as well. In fact, it would be odd if he didn't, considering the Roblox thing. Why that is important is because Illumix did get some flack for some of these skins, either because they were too samey or situations like the Day of the Dead Chica, but that means this wasn't all on their hands. Though then again, who initially designed these skins is unknown. I'm assuming it's Illumix, but maybe it wasn't. This is really not important, so I'm just gonna move on. But I will say again that this is part of the reason that photo booth section was so important. If improved, it would have really benefited the game. Imagine showing off your skins in different pictures and stuff. That would have been
cool.
fun and given you reason to really want to collect these skins. Because other than some minor aesthetic changes and occasionally gameplay alters, the skins are pretty much useless once you collect them.
Yeah.
And yes, on a personal note, it is baffling that the rabbit characters, specifically Springtrap and Bonnie, got 4 skins apiece, and some characters didn't even get 1 or 2. Like, at least throw Freddy a third. He's literally the star.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, unless you count, like, Frostbear as just another skin, which, I mean,
To get on to the real fun stuff, the microtransactions.
Yay!
Like many mobile games, Fnaf AR had microtransactions. The main source of these being Faz tokens. You buy Faz tokens to buy perks in the shop, or just buy the perks, which tend to consist of battery refills and lures. See,
Yeah,
some
makes
specialty animatronics you won't encounter unless you use the lure, such as the event animatronics, who you usually get 1 or maybe 2 lures from per event. And if there's more than one animatronic, you will only sometimes get a lure for both. Usually you only get 1 lure for one up front, and the other later, maybe.
Yeah, I've heard it all
In
before.
some cases, you're able to buy skins and CPUs. This was very rare in the beginning of the game, I recall, but became more common later on, with you usually offered a suit for a character just released or an event skin. These were significantly more pricey, and sometimes you couldn't use Faz tokens. You would have to pay outright. Now,
Yeah.
currently the shop is on a major discount for the end-of-life sale, so I went back to dig into these prices and see what I could find. First off, here are, or were, the basic prices. 500 Faz tokens for $5. 1,200
Okay.
tokens for $10. 2,600 tokens for $20. 5,400 tokens for $40. 8,700 tokens for $60. 15,000 tokens for $100. So right off the bat, if you didn't have many tokens saved up from the occasional ad and event, photo booth mode was stuck behind a $40 paywall.
Oh god, I'm just okay. So, as I've said, I was talking about this in the previous reaction I just did, but I haven't paid that much to like free-to-play games that much. The only exceptions would be like World of Tanks, World of Warships, and War Thunder. Specifically World of Tanks and World of Warships. I've spent so much money on those games. Granted, not in a while. I've kind of held myself back, but still, oh god, those games, specifically for like one summer when I first figured out how to like actually, pay for stuff and buy stuff. Oh, that was horrible on my bank account. Ugh.
There's no way about it, because you would either have to pay $40 up front or $220s. That is steep for a major feature.
Yes, very much so.
I continued digging and found some pics online. Here's one for supposedly a year after launch that shows some mini packs that seem to have the skins and likely the CPU. So, to calculate these as though you had no Faz tokens, since they are so time-consuming,
Yeah.
and using the pack you would have to buy to get enough tokens, Balloon Boy is $10, as are Chica and Foxy on their own. Circus Baby is $15 to $20, with the 20 being the better deal. Springtrap is $20. Toy Chica is $40. And
Why
you may
is
say,
she so
people
expensive?
will likely have tokens. True, but at 10 to 25 tokens a pop, with both of them limited to ads, events, or random chances, you are not collecting enough that quickly. You'll have to have been playing for a long time and hope you don't miss out on an event or deal. But
Yeah.
still, these prices are outrageous. Some mobile games have deals where when you spend money, you actually get bonuses. A game that comes to mind is a dress-up game called Love Nikki, where spending gives you bonuses like extra slots and extra rewards and beautiful dresses.
Okay.
Fnaf AR does not have anything like that. It doesn't matter how much you purchase, there's no, extra perks for purchasing.
The only thing I can think of now is, all the YouTubers I saw play this back in the day, and they, bought, the bundles whenever a new animatronic was added in. The only thing I can think of is, thank God that they could write this stuff off on their taxes.
Here's a picture of the Plush Trap Party Pack that contains a suit, 5 lures, and 3 extra batteries. That means 1 suit, 5 consumables, and 3 times rechargeable consumables.
And
It is
24
pounds, which converts to $30. In contrast, you could buy 2 Fnaf plushies, or 2 Fnaf shirts.
Oh, poor Foxy.
Or if you get there on a discount, probably mix and match more. You could buy a pizza tower and still have $10 aside to buy Bendy and the Dark Revival, which is on sale for $6 now, but not making a point. And Oddworld Abe's Exodus, and have a little pocket change left. 3 games for 1 suit.
Jeez.
These prices are outrageous.
That's
And yes,
oh,
I know
God.
a mobile game needs to keep themselves afloat through monetization, but here is the problem. There's just not enough here to monetize. See, sure, the skins make sense, but the other thing they're selling are lures. Most of the time, you're buying lures. You're buying chances to get characters instead of characters. It's kind of like gambling almost, because it's not a skill issue when the game crashes constantly.
Oh god, it is, isn't it?
And that affects this game in a way you might not expect. It is unfriendly to whales. What do I mean? So what is
Whales,
a whale?
yeah.
A whale is a player who dumps a lot of money into microtransactions. Forget a buck here or there. Whales are what keep mobile games going. Is it healthy to dump that much cash into a game? Probably not. But these heavily monetized games thrive on these relationships.
Yeah.
But Fnaf AR's slow release in characters and targets towards selling lures over skins, at least initially, and not having much else to monetize meant that there really wasn't a reason to drop that much cash into the game. So whales were not encouraged to break out their wallet. This just suddenly came to me while I was recording this. This seems absolutely baffling, but we could have mixed this Love Nikki thing up with Fnaf AR. They should have sold costumes for the animatronics. I know that sounds stupid, but that would have, like, pretty much solved this. Just monetize the hell out of, like, little Christmas costumes for the animatronics. Hey, you've got Freddy. You want to put a hat on Freddy? Here you go. 25 cents, put a hat on Freddy.
Or, I mean, also customize, like, a hat, or it's like, you put, like, a bunch of different idiots, like, 25 cents a pop, and you're just like, hat. Like, oh god, the memes out of that they would have made a killing off of that.
I know it definitely wouldn't be that cheap, but, like, imagine a perfect world where you could pay 25 cents to give your Freddy a nice Christmas hat. That actually probably would have fixed a lot of this. But I digress. Anyway, we'll discuss the final delivery discount later on, but basically the game's last update was a discount on all shop prices before the game's gone for good. This isn't too unusual. Some games will give gifts before they close, or offer some other presents if they're asking their users to, like, switch servers or something. It's pretty standard stuff, so I don't have much to say.
Yeah.
But looking at...
Which, actually, thinking about it, like, what happens, like, you buy, it's like, oh yeah, we're giving you a discount, but the servers are still going to be closing down. Like, is it just like, hey, try the stuff before it's gone sort of deal? Or is the game still going to be playable if you downloaded it before it was removed from the store?
Every tiny issue with Fnaf...
Actually, wait a second, I gotta wonder, do I still have it installed on my phone? Nope, no I don't. Yeah, I probably uninstalled that a long time ago.
I would say that the monetization was probably the main reason why it started to go downhill. The prices are too high to attract easy money, and there's not enough to offer to bring those prices down, perhaps, or to bring in someone who's willing to pay those prices. Though I would argue that maybe, in the long run, dozens of tiny microtransactions may pay off better than a few big ones.
Yeah.
Though, then again, like I said, whales make the industry, so what do I know? Another issue was what I said with the characters. There's plenty of FNAF characters they didn't put in the game. But the problem was that as the mechanics became more complicated, it took more time and resources to make these characters, and the player count was likely bleeding over time. In the beginning, issues got fixed, but other issues came in, especially with these new mechanics. For example, there was an update where the characters took more hits to die. That's okay. But I heard and can't confirm that there were bugs and loading issues that cropped up after that update.
Of course there were.
I can't tell you because as of right now, I still can't even get the app to load. Like, for this video, I tried to boot up my app because I had it saved on my phone. I could not get it to load through.
Oh, God.
I can't be the only one. All of these issues led to a steady decline of FNAF AR, and that was when it took its dying breath with the DLC expansion known as the Dark Circus Encore. Encore was both an impressive sign of what FNAF AR could have done and how cool and immersive special delivery could have been, and the final nail in the coffin that the game was born into. I also learned today that Dark Circus was apparently supposed to be the first piece of episodic content for the game. The irony
really?
that it was, in fact, the
last
update
Wonderful.
the game ever received is not lost on me. So what is the Dark Circus Encore? Well, instead of another Dark Circus event, like the one where Ringleader Foxy, Magician Mangle, and Clown Springtrap were all released, it is instead a sort of AR experience. You are dropped into this eerie circus tent full of halls, oddities, and puzzles. Inside are Ringleader Foxy and Ballora, who are chained, and a mysterious third sealed in a water-filled box. You are timed to get the puzzles done, and then encounter Foxy and Ballora one-on-one. Now, since this is a paid expansion, you can keep trying. They're not one and dones like the lure. It doesn't matter if you die. You can keep coming
wonderful.
back.
Okay.
And you can replay it after it's done. Once you finish the puzzles and take them out, the case is knocked over and there's a cutscene signaling the battle with Great Escape Golden Freddy. And it is a battle because, in case you forgot, this silly old bear has 3 phases. Once
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
defeated, there's a short cutscene and the DLC ends. Note that Foxy and Ballora also have cutscenes before their battles. You are given the Great Escape Golden Freddy skin upon completion, but really the DLC is for the experience more than the reward, and it's a pretty neat experience. The highlight is the atmosphere of the location, which is much more detailed in comparison to the simple hallways with plush trap.
Jeez.
You can wander around, listening to the creaking and wind around you, looking at the dirtied colors and old furniture, and coming across the animatronics, who are at first in a limp state before waking up and emoting with their workshop ass, and then become more aggressive and start trying to attack you. If FNAF AR really was like this, little episodic chunks of AR environments, puzzles, and encounters sold at a reasonable price, then I feel like FNAF Special Delivery really would have lived up to its name.
That would have been so cool.
I especially love that the animatronic encounters are actually in AR rooms instead of the hall space between my living room and bathroom. The downside is, well, firstly, it isn't FNAF AR and there weren't any more episodes. Maybe because it didn't sell well? Well, there was certainly one thing that kept it from selling well. By the way, the price is $20.
Oh!
Yes, $20. Okay, in comparison to the other transactions, it sounds like a deal, right? Well, it's not. The price is, if I may, ridiculous. Cool atmosphere and experience or not, this is a short segment with a few puzzles, 3 encounterable animatronics, and only 1 guaranteed skin
Oh,
for
God.
$20. For $10 more, you can get Help Wanted on Steam. So yeah, $20 for this is outrageous. And yes, I know it's currently on discount, but
I the only thing I can think of when like looking at all, hearing about all this, is the fact that it sounded like, one, like the development team didn't have enough resources, and 2, they might have gotten a little too greedy with their price. Well, might have. I mean, they did. But I mean, they went with the monetization. They went too hard and too heavy, and just locked almost everybody out of this. Plus, I don't even remember seeing anybody play like the DLC on YouTube or anything. I mean, maybe they did. I just like skimmed over the video and didn't bother watching it. But who knows?
But up until now, $20. It's more like a $10 experience. Well, that's being generous. Sister location is what, $8? Well, whatever. So what I'm thinking is that this was a way to test the waters and see if there was another way to make this profitable. Maybe there wasn't really episodic content planned, per se, but instead it was to see if they could recoup some funds, and if it was successful, they could make more of them. I don't know how many folks purchased this, but it must have not given the desired boost, as this was the last update, and Great Escape Golden Freddy was the last skin released.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he stayed a DLC exclusive, but a big oof if he did.
Oof.
And then it was radio silence for 2 long years until Illumix unexpectedly posted that the game was going to be shut down, thanking the community for all their support, yada yada. And now we're inching towards the
all the
final year.
boilerplate stuff.
Now, before I continue into the stuff that didn't make it into the game, there was a small theory going around that FNAF AR's ending was planned, and that because it happened shortly before Security Breach released, that this was part of the meta-narrative. No. First of all, if that was the intended ending, wouldn't they say something instead of 2 years of radio silence?
Yeah.
Especially since, as I will get into, almost all of the information that connected the 2 games was cut. And especially since there wasn't any last character confirmation to Security Breach's release. It's not like it ended with Vanny or the Glamrocks. Oh, by the way, they did say at one point, either Scott or someone at Illumix said that the Glamrocks were going to be in FNAF AR. So
Wait,
there we go. There was
really?
confirmation that the game was supposed to continue past Security Breach.
Oh, okay, that would have been fun.
It didn't come to pass. But the more important thing is, do you really think that a spin-off mobile game would halt all production just because a mainline game came out?
No, that
With
sounds
the weird
really
posting
stupid when you say it
schedule,
out
the weird
loud.
issues with communication, and that whole 3 employees thing, I think the Lumix might have run into some issues, and this happened. This happened to mobile games. It just happened kind of fast.
Yeah, you'd think that, like... Grant, I mean, I wasn't there. I don't know what was happening behind the scenes, but you would think that they would have tried, like, hiring on a couple more people just to take the workload off and get stuff out there more often.
But maybe not. So now we arrive at the final delivery update. It's a discount. Moving on.
Yeah.
Time to get into what I teased earlier with Funtime Freddy and Golden Freddy, and the biggest allusion to how off-track Fnaf AR got. There was a finished but unreleased character, and I mean finished
Lefty.
as in models done, animations done, even a teaser picture was finished, and yet it was not posted into the final game. And before you believe Scott might have just given it a no, he would have given a no before the character was teased in the initial teaser before the game was released, not when
Yeah.
its own teaser was created. Someone was practically entirely finished, but never made it into the game. Before we discuss that, let's discuss the multitude of other cut content, just
Yeah.
to keep baiting you along.
Of course.
Cut
Why?
content is
Why?
given with any game, but what was cut from Fnaf AR is insane. Not just an entirely finished animatronic, but pretty much the entire backstory and a laundry list of teasers for Security Breach. I'm not kidding. Everything we truly know about Vanessa's possession, the transition between Help Wanted and Security Breach, her relation with her co-workers, how she acquired Glitch Trap and got him into the Pizzaplex, her change in personality, her favorite kind of cake, all of that was found in cut emails that were supposed to be teased in Fnaf AR.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. And again, that was these cut emails. They were Matt Pat mentioned them in his like Ultimate FNAF timeline video. Like, I don't know whether it was the stress, but like I really want to know like how this went off the rails like so completely.
Things like Vanessa's last name and age, how her dual personality was affecting her life, the process of her uploading Glitch Trap into the programs, and his effect on her were all in these emails, making this the very first time of many that Vanessa's role was butchered.
Yeah.
One of the most important facts about Vanessa is hidden in these emails. Like, you know how Vanessa was supposedly innocent and Glitch Trap is controlling her and she's really good? Well, Fnaf AR is the only piece of Fnaf media that directly tells us that Glitch Trap is threatening her. He's threatening to break her fingers and toes, he's sending her flowers for her grave, he's doing some really sick stuff.
Oh,
Some sick stuff that
okay.
would have definitely made that scene with Vanny at the end of Help Wanted 2 a lot more impactful if it was common knowledge. And
Oh,
it's more
okay.
telling because a few of the emails did make it in, only to cut off midway through, like the Lewis emails, where Vanessa talks to a friend she mentions in Security Breach, Lewis, as he gets more concerned about her and keeps asking her out constantly even though she never reciprocates. I think these emails just not releasing was probably a management issue, maybe a timing issue, because after Security Breach came out, there maybe wasn't a reason to keep posting them. Well, then again, they weren't posting anything after Security Breach came out. That
Yeah.
was after November. While it doesn't damage AR much, it isn't doing SB any favors. But there's something bigger than Security Breach's story hiding in this cut content. Case in point, Lefty.
Yep.
Model. Finished. Animations. Finished. Teaser. Finished. In files confirmed via Datamind. Lefty was teased in the first teaser of the game, alongside Funtime Freddy, and expected to be the final hurrah. But while Funtime Freddy barely squeezed in, Lefty did not. Which is very odd because the Dark Circus Encore made it. Realistically, you could have stuck Lefty in there somewhere.
Make a
Or
few more
released
extra
him
bucks.
Even now in the last hurrah of the game. But nah, Lefty is lost media. Well, sorta. You forget lost media and we're never gonna forget Lefty. And now, we have finally reached the end. So what really killed Fnaf AR? Lefty. It was Lefty. Everything this bear touches dies. It killed the puppet's chances of getting in, and in retaliation, the puppet broke into the server room and stole as much copper wire out of the walls as it could, and now there's no money to finish Frankenstein Freddy's pumpkin-headed debut.
Okay. I didn't expect that to go that way. But yeah, I'm just gonna say it just seemed like it seemed like just every piece of this games development and management was just wrong or broken in some way, and it just snowballed and seemingly rather quickly into the game dying.
Okay, no, let's be frank. Fnaf AR was a mobile game that went out of its way to try and sew in the franchise's main game mechanics in a new and interesting way. It was a really neat concept, with creepy animations and voice lines allowing us to get an even better look at and listen to many of our most beloved FNAF animatronics and Balloon Boy. In concept,
And Balloon
it
Boy,
really
just
went
he's
above and
separate.
beyond. But in execution, it had issues. The monetization
Yeah.
didn't work, and for myself and some others, it didn't run very well. You were frequently spending time trying to get back to where you were, and it wasn't the type of game where you could do that easily. Again, it was the type of mobile game best played at home, so you carved out a big section of demographic with that decision alone. And yeah, that's kind of what killed FNAF AR, really. It was a mobile game that sort of wasn't a mobile game.
Yeah, you couldn't
At
be very
least
mobile
it
with
lacked
it.
that pick up and play gameplay that many games have. You cannot play this game on the toilet, or at the dentist, or in your car. Games like, well, not while you're driving, of course, you get me. Mobile games tend to survive on being games that you can play in your free time. FNAF AR was the sort of mobile game that needed you at your house, or at least in a well-lit bathroom that you can spin around in. And look, I'm not just ragging on FNAF AR. The truth is, it's important to see what went wrong because it might just happen again. So recently a new FNAF game released and got cut. This sort of Roblox official FNAF game that came out buggy, unfinished, and with a lot of microtransactions. But no worries. Scott assured us that this was an accident. He was telling them okay to a skin, and they thought he said to release the game. Gosh, Scott has been having a lot of these accidents recently. Like when he accidentally released that version of the FNAF movie novel that was exactly the same, except fan favorite Doug just happened to be a perverted creep in it. No comment. Hey, I get to be a little cheeky. I did all my proofreading myself and I sucked at it. But nothing slipped by. Well, except for the weird word replacements and errors. But I digress. Best of time, worst of times, moving on. Point is, let that be a lesson to the lot of you. Pay for a proofreader. The point is, again, this analysis wasn't ever to say FNAF AR was awful. In actuality, I wanted to play it, and I did like the concept. There were just issues with the execution, and they should really be taken into account before the next game like this, in one way or another, releases. Because I do feel like FNAF AR could have really made it. Dark Circus Encore showed the game sort of at its best, and it's sad
what it
that
could
we
have
got a
done.
glimpse of what the game could have been before the lid closed and it was lowered into the ground. Rest in peace, FNAF AR. You gave us one mini arena skin and no lefty, and I feel like that was a proper trade-off. Thank you for watching.
Oh god, this FNAF AR was like, that was kind of the thing, like, me particularly, I just kind of forgot that AR kind of existed at all. Like, I remember it making a pretty big splash when it first appeared, and then, like, I got bored of watching people play it, and then I just ignored it and kind of forgot it. It's just, this whole thing, you know what, let's just hope that if another FNAF spin-off like this is, like, released in the future, and, you know, hopefully with that, like, Dead by Daylight clone one, let's just hope that it's managed a lot better, at the very least. Yeah. So yeah, of course, as always, original videos linked in the description if you haven't seen it for some reason. Corner video will lead to my Let's Play of the day, and with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.